It is 7:31. I will call the meeting to order. And we're gonna not do voting on the minutes yet because we don't have a whole lot of us. And I'm actually one more. Okay. And we'll do updates and liaison updates, because Kevin has to leave a little early. And then we'll get to the more discussion-y topics, including one of which, whoop, ding, ding. Yes. All right.
Julie.
Yes. Hello, Julie. Ding, dingling. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. So let's do some updates on current initiatives, school food waste, food rescue and composting. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you. I can do an update from the Woodville. So we have been attempting to restart at the Woodville. There's a bit of turmoil with transition of who's responsible for wheeling out which different thing.
That's compost or food?
Yes, both.
Okay.
But the student council is now the put away the food at the end of lunch, folks for food rescue. So I trained the whole gaggle of fourth grade student counselors and they are excited to do it. I have not been back to the school in the 3 days since to make sure that it's working, but they were real enthusiastic.
See what happens after school vacation.
We will, yes, we'll check back in after, right, that it's a week before February vacation is not ideal timing for learning a new routine. So I'll probably plan to go once or twice that week.
We still haven't figured out the compost. Who's taking out? Putting.
It seems that Wayne will be working on taking in and out the compost for now. And that Matt was gonna, Principal Carter was gonna ask him for that.
Who's Wayne?
So, Wayne is the lunch monitor.
Okay.
Table wipe lunch monitor person. He was originally brought in through the senior tax write-off program that we helped to get to happen there for food rescue and compost, which seems to have caused some additional kerfuffle around whose responsibilities are who. So that's Woodville. Other school updates on food rescue and compost? Yeah.
Yeah, so we had 3 meetings for the early start times, which actually could like definitely affect busing and transportation. But so I was able to talk with the principal at the Dover. And basically a lot of it's personnel issue. Like we really have to get the right people like in the spots, I think. So, I think definitely like, especially going towards next year, like I think it would be helpful to have like a good conversation in the summer about like, okay, like how can we actually set this up, like to make sure this works? Like, cause I know that like,
Yeah, I think
you
the
guys-
janitor there is retiring this year, so
Yeah.
I was thinking next fall would be best time to
yeah,
set that up.
yeah. Yeah, and there was another elementary principal there, I think it was a Greenwood, and she was saying like she was saying how it really does having the right personnel, the right buy-in is really like, I think the most important factor.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna help. It's like checking on them,
Yeah.
it's like really just need the right people there. So I think I think in the end, that's what's gonna.
That makes sense.
The no idling signs, supposedly are there.
At all of the schools?
That's what I was told.
I saw one at Dolbear.
Yeah,
I have not looked
Yeah.
at other schools.
yeah,
Is that including the high school?
that I heard there was one
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I haven't looked.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was told, like, cause I asked like the next week after the meeting. And then the last thing is, I just know you sent up the information about the electric school bus, like you said, the electric school buses. And, one thing I would advise is like, I've read articles just like that are saying, yes, this works in cold weather. And then I swear to God, I'll get another article that says, no, it doesn't work in northern Maine. And so I just think that we should like just be able to like, because they both seem to be credible sources. So, and they're literally saying the opposite things. So I think that's one thing when we look down the road, especially in a year where we're doing late start times, like we're gonna be redoing the whole schedule. like who know, like the bus contracts, like if we get, you know, a new vendor, you know, that's something that we want to be looking at. So yeah, kind of want to try to get our ducks in a row with that one. And I just don't know what school systems have gone, like electric school buses, like if any.
Does that, yeah, do folks know of of schools that have done electric school bus?
Yeah, I think Beverly
That
has,
was the one in my mind, yeah.
they have that, the company Highland, that's right, in Beverly, that, that does the electric school bus. There's electric school bus company, basically.
Yeah, I can look and
On
see.
one I'm, go
Oh,
ahead.
I can look and see if I can find more examples. I know that I thought Concord was doing a pilot, but I don't know the status of it.
I'm sure there's others.
It would be great to know if you have a sense of when, um, like when decisions will start to get made. I feel like it's one of those where we could start to look into it and it would be too early, but if it's too late and contracts are already in the works, we've missed the boat on whenever
Yeah,
contracts are happening.
I know that I think we're gonna vote this spring on the late start time, which wouldn't take place next year, would take place the following year. And then obviously busing is a massive part of that decision. So I would think after that vote that I think we're supposed to get proposals this spring, and I think we're supposed to have a vote this spring.
Mhm.
And so at that point, then I think we'd be looking at whether we stay with the same bus company we're with now. And then we could like explore whatever options at that point. So I'll tell you after we have that vote.
Sounds good. Is there anyone who's especially excited about electric school buses and wants to do a little preparatory research about it? Find some example schools, that sort of thing?
I mean, I can help out with that.
Great, sounds good. I know it's also a topic that Counselor Carney has raised. So I think I shared the article with you and with,
Yeah,
so you might want to let him know that it's something that you're interested in. We can pull him into those discussions.
yeah, one of my friends lives in Maine, in central Maine, and he sent me the opposite article. So it was really interesting. One of the districts up there had one and there were issues. So it was, yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
We just wanna,
Absolutely.
and we're not northern Maine, we're not central Maine. It's like different, but
Right, I do wonder whether there's a density factor, right? Like
Yeah.
our buses aren't going very far
no, right.
mileage wise, so in central Maine, they might.
Yeah, I imagine wouldn't be an issue.
I'd
All right.
also, if, I'd also be happy to participate in the electric school bus conversation. I think it's, again, in mobility and, for me, I've looked at busing in general. It seems very interesting to me that we can't or won't, but I understand the dynamics. It's not as simple as just, let's do it. But the electric school bus thing in particular, I think is very, it would kind of stretch a couple places, right? Because just expanding busing in general, but more, I think, because we don't own it, right? It's all contracted out, figuring out how that's even going to work. So, and again, of course, the school committee has to actually make all those commitments. So it's not like it's a one and done kind of thing. It's not something we own directly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the problem with busing is that there's very few companies that we can contract out. It's a monopoly issue. So there's just very little leeway to negotiate bus contracts.
Mhm.
So, but I think towns just stopped having their own buses when it became cost prohibitive years ago. So, yeah.
Cool.
One other thing with the schools is, I was talking to the teacher who coordinates the recycling club at the high school and about composting there. And she had some initial conversations with Tim O'Brien about it. And so the conversations have started. I don't know exactly where they're gonna go, but see.
Awesome, that'd be fun. Oh, and I spoke with someone who leads a Girl Scout troop who is at the middle school. And there are some Girl Scouts interested in helping with compost or food rescue if we ever go back to doing that at the middle school. So I'm connecting them with Cheyenne about where that conversation landed. So I don't think they have a whole lot of to do, but they're interested in helping.
Yeah, I think food rescue is definitely something that could restart there because they have like kind of like a pantry there anyways. So it's composting that's a whole other beast with overseeing in the lunchroom.
All right, and then on other updates, events, we have the STEAM night coming up in April. We talked last time about some ideas. It's probably still a little early, but I'll probably send an email asking for who's available for that evening to go to the Galvin. This is for the kindergarten through fourth grade STEAM night, which we've done a couple times. I think we're discussing maybe something in the pollinator native plant realm. So if folks have ideas for things that would be fun to do at that event, we could come up with something and get some seeds. Maybe we could even get a bunch of soil plant things.
I don't know if you want to get those games from climate games for that.
Oh, for the STEAM night?
Yeah.
Maybe. I can look into that.
Tiana, do you have the date for that? The STEAM night?
I was just looking up from the last few minutes, so
Thank you.
April 15th at 5:30.
Perfect, thank you.
And I,
Can you remind me, is the target age group for that?
Kindergarten through fourth grade.
Okay, thank you.
So it's at the Galvin, but it's for the elementary kids.
and if I remember correctly, it's only like an hour and a half commitment.
Yeah, it's a pretty short event. So yeah, 5:30 to 7, I would assume. It's a fun event. I mean, if you have kids in that age bracket, you should definitely go. They had animals and there was like robot yoga and all sorts of cool stuff.
If you're doing pollinators, could you do like a little scavenger hunt thing? Like
Say more.
well, you're talking about like doing native plants. Could you combine it and then you would have the kids, they'd be up, they'd be running around, but then they'd also be like learning and stuff. I feel like that could engage some of them. Because I feel like sometimes as kids that age, they don't want to like sit down and, take the time to read or do like some kind of like some of them do, but then some of them are going to be running around anyway. So
Oh, yeah.
we're like, oh, all around this room are like pictures, like go find what your animal would pollinate.
Oh, interesting.
A scavenger hunt would be a good idea. The problem is the room. Have you been in the room that it's in?
It's in the cafeteria.
It's at the caf.
It's in the caf.
So it's so packed with so many booths. So the way to do it, you would need you can still do it. You would probably have to get a hallway or maybe you would have to get some of the room, but you could totally do that. You just have to ask the school for the space to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
you
have the
would just need
pollinators
space
on
for them to be doing.
Other people's tables, right? Like,
But that is definitely something we could do. Just need another.
cool. All right, yeah, let's workshop that a little. Cool. And then was there anyone who was interested in attending the Mass Recycle conference?
I was thinking about it. I just couldn't pull the trigger when there was that deadline before.
And Anne, are you going to that?
I am going.
Okay.
Happy to drive anyone who wants to go.
So you're going.
I haven't bought a ticket for that one. I bought a ticket for the Mass Energize conference.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I need to look at the day again.
Okay.
but I'm thinking about it.
okay, yeah, I went to it the last 2 years, so I'm happy to not go to that one and just go to the Mass Energize if there are other folks going to Mass Recycle. And you don't even need to bring me back a tiny toy recycling bin because I have quite a number of them already.
Great.
Yes. Okay, cool. Let's do some liaison updates. Oh, yes, we'll do some liaison updates. We'll come back to minutes. Anything else on the school committee side?
I just did everything.
All right. Youth Council, any youth council updates?
Hi, so I talked to them for a bit about what we were talking about like idling and carpooling and stuff. So we're thinking of starting that out with like a communication piece and like a social media campaign. I'm going to be coordinating with our communications manager about that. So if you guys have like any specific like statistics or sources or like surveys or polls or anything that could be used to help with like promoting carpooling and biking and warning about the dangers of idling. I think, all of that could be really helpful because, we're looking to put together some infographics and thinking maybe skits or student interviews too. Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. So it hasn't gotten started yet, but, the conversation's out there. I do have a plan to talk more with her and move forward.
A vague memory of an article a few years ago in the Globe about anti-idling.
I have a vague memory of that too. It might even be something that we have shared on our Facebook. Maybe.
I wasn't sure if,
Archives of our Facebook has
Yes.
a wide variety of topics, so
okay.
if you have access to Facebook, because now I gotta clarify that's not a guarantee. So-
I don't, but I have a friend who
See?
I don't have Facebook.
I could
Ask your
search
parents.
Our archive, see if we can dig up the anti-idling article. I don't know if we have any stuff about carpooling. We did
Good.
yeah, it would be great, but I don't know if we do. I don't know if we've posted anything about carpooling.
I mean, are you thinking about like a multi-mobility type of thing? Like not just like targeting people who drive, but like trying to get them out of the car?
Oh, yeah, like talking about like biking or walking
Yeah,
options.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially as it's getting warmer and stuff.
Yeah.
Really, we're just, looking for a transportation-based educational
Okay.
project,
Okay.
basically.
Cool.
That's a good
Nice.
point. And segues into my other thing. We were talking, you guys mentioned electric bike racks last time. And when I brought that up to the youth council, I heard a lot of feedback about the general lack of bike racks at the high school. Like, not only is it like, we don't have electric bike racks, but there's like one singular bike rack at the high school.
Really?
Yeah, there's one.
Well, that seems like a barrier to
One.
people biking to school.
Yes, exactly. I think I don't know about the other schools, but I know at the high school, there is a significant lack of bike rack space. And then they were talking about how it could be helpful, like even just to put in, regular bike racks. Some people mentioned maybe, providing locks for the bike racks too. And how that could really help to like make biking accessible to more students.
Do students at the high school use electric scooters?
Oh, that's what you were talking about, right? Electric scooters. I don't know. I haven't heard of anyone
You
using
don't
it.
see them.
I don't see them, no. Again, we don't
Just-
have racks in, but yeah.
I mean, doesn't seem like a big ask, I don't know of whom, to get some bike racks put up at the high school.
Yeah.
Particularly ones that aren't cemented in place so that when the high school is torn down and becomes a field for the new high school,
Yeah, I'm trying to find,
are there bike racks already
There's-
intended for the new,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, you can just get those like aluminum ones that just sit on top of the sidewalk.
Right.
I think we have one maybe in the front there. I see people biking in, but
and does the DPW have any bike racks around, underutilized?
I'll look. We may just have those, the lollipop ones.
Yep.
There may be a few of those around, but I'll take a look.
I mean, that also sounds like the sort of thing that often there's grants around for, so I don't know from whom, but that might be something we could write a
Yeah,
a
it may be a
grant for?
Tim O'Brien question too, where he's the operations person over at at the schools.
I'm taking notes.
Sounds good. That feels like a solvable problem, so
Yeah.
maybe we can try to solve it. Maybe we could sponsor some bike locks.
Yeah, I mean, it may be something to like instead of going to Tim, maybe go to your principal or like assistant principal,
Yeah.
so that they can then talk to Tim.
Sounds like a plan, because I can definitely talk to them.
Awesome. Um, one other thing, and I wasn't sure if this was something the school committee might be interested in. I came across, there's a local nonprofit called Massachusetts Teacher Resources, I think, that collects, I think I sent it maybe to Lily and Melissa, collects school supplies, for like extra school supplies for teachers can go like shop for free from a collection of school supplies and other like office supply, art supply kind of materials. Wasn't sure if that was something we'd want to do a collection of at some point. I don't know if at the end of the year, are there, extra things that people would want to donate. I can send you a link to their site, but that might be something that'd be fun to do.
I mean, I know the schools puts out a list for parents to buy X supplies, for,
Mhm.
like each grade.
Right.
So you would think there would be extra supplies at the end of the year that are not used. That would just be there, like within the classrooms. So.
And hopefully
What
they
does this
get
group-
reused.
does this
in
group
the-
do? Do they
collect it. You donate, and just individuals can donate too. It doesn't have to be from a school, but individuals donate, and then teachers who need help buying their supplies, teachers can go and get supplies from this sort of centralized, but it's for Massachusetts teachers.
Yeah.
And they'll even come pick it up from you if you collect a bunch of them. So anyway, in the vein of reuse, we could think about doing something there.
I like that.
Someone on the Buy Nothing was promoting a whole big thing of like paper clips recently.
There you go.
That would be next, make suggestions on Buy Nothing. so
I
we
know.
can Do that.
Yeah.
Not publicly.
Anyway, so it might be something to think about maybe towards the end of the school year if we want to do some sort of school supply collection.
Thinking maybe we could do that, the Brett Lippergear Median Sustainability Day.
Yeah, right, because that's after the school year has
Yeah,
ended.
is that in June?
no,
I
it
can't
isn't.
remember when that is. June.
It's in June this year, I guess.
Okay.
It's
June,
usually in April, but now she's doing
it's
it.
June 14th, so it's actually right before the end of the school year.
Oh, okay.
But-
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Continuing liaison updates. Anything else, Ellie, from school, from youth council?
No, that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you. Very good. Anne, any DPW updates other than RDP? Because we'll talk about RDP in a upcoming agenda item.
Sure. So hopefully people have seen that Republic Services wants to go automated for our trash pickup. So we're working out some of the kinks, but they've already started using the arm to make pickups for trash. So recycling will stay the same until our contract is up in June. I think it's July 3rd of 27. So it's a good start. A lot of people in Wakefield already know how to do it because they did it before. I do think it's cleaner. It is easier for the driver. Safety is their reason why they're doing it. They have been able to do the routes a little quicker, which is great. So they're out of town a little quicker, which is nice. And they're still learning. So we're hoping that that'll be help us a little bit for them finishing the routes. They seem to have trouble on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it looks better. I can't wait till we get a barrel for recycling and then we have 2 barrels out and it will look really nice. But that's a ways away. We figure that it's probably about $600,000 or $700,000 to get barrels for everyone. So I'm working on some grants. The best I've found is between $5 and $10 off the barrel. If we got a 96-gallon barrel for everyone, it would probably be about $70. So we have 8,643 barrels out there on the streets. So so that's
I
what
think we should applaud her spitting out those numbers. like off the top.
the only reason I know those because I've been working on the art. So the art in order to get the RDP, you have to have by the 15th of February, you have to have your recycling out and you have to do your survey and your spending. So I've been looking up a lot of information for that, which I passed in yesterday. So that's how I knew those.
Are there, so I absolutely understand the safety reasons. Are there environmental reasons for the auto arm collection? Like, does it reduce emissions?
Well,
Does
but they have less time on like
There's less idling.
less, okay, yeah. 'Cause I was gonna say, like, we can share about it. I just wasn't sure if there's a particular
and-
sustainability angle we can share.
Well, we've been meeting with Republic and hopefully again next week, but they've been talking about electric vehicles and trying to get those going. They're thinking for the summer months. I believe they just bought a few vehicles to try out here, so
Cool.
we were willing to volunteer to be one that they could use it in our town. So we'll see.
Oh, man, yeah, I want to see the electric trash truck.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
put in a parade. When the electric,
Like literally.
when the electric police car shows up and the electric trash truck, we're gonna have an electric parade.
I like it. I
Heard it
like
here
it.
first. Cool, okay, awesome. What else? Anything else?
That's
And
about
is
it.
the
with-
cardboard dumpster gone for until the pit opens? A lot of people ask about, they love the compost or the cardboard.
Send me an email with your request and I will forward it on to who I can find who will listen to me.
Okay.
Yeah, as many as we can, because I love it. It's been fantastic. I can't believe how much cardboard we collected. We were emptying it every day in beginning of January.
Wow. That's wild. But it's not there right now?
There's a parking issue at Town Hall and it takes up like 2 spaces, so it causes all havoc among guests and employees.
Maybe they should carpool.
Exactly.
Cool, okay, sounds good. When does the pit open back up? April?
April, first Saturday of April.
Okay. So we're talking a month and a half.
Yeah.
You just tell people to hold on to their cardboard. Bring a whole lot of it when April, when the pit opens up.
Yes.
Cool. All right, any other non-RDP?
So we still have been doing our collection of eyeglasses and cell phones. We dropped off about 65 cell phones to Phones for Soldiers. There's a drop off on Teal Road in Wakefield, so we did that this week. They were very happy, we were happy, and so far we have dropped off about 380 sets of glasses, and I just looked in the bin and there's probably another 50 in the glass bin right now. So that's been great, easy to do. I think we should continue that.
Great, that's awesome.
Are you doing rain barrels as we start to think spring again? And
We're doing rain barrels and composting. I think the date is May 24th or 25th. I sent Jen McDonald all the information to get a flyer out. So I'm hoping to have the flyer out next week.
Cool, all right. And I assume we don't have any town council updates because we do not have our counselor here. Jen, any updates and news from Gas and Light?
Yeah, I have a couple of updates, and sorry, I've been sick this week, so I'm having a sneeze attack right now.
Oh, sorry.
But fortunately, I'm not with you, so no one will be infected. So one thing for Anne is specifically is the state is requiring that large buildings over 20,000 square feet report energy usage on an annual basis. We are already doing this through Green Communities, so we're basically covered with that, but you may receive a letter from the state to the town about this effort. We're still trying to figure out how the green, I think there's a question for the state about how to use the Green Communities data for compliance. We don't know how this all works. But it would be helpful if you receive a letter from the state, if you could just let WMGLD know that they've reached out. So we're trying to kind of keep track, and we've had private, this is municipal buildings and private buildings as well. So we've had customers start to reach out about
Oh.
letters they're receiving.
Sure.
And that's just happened in the last couple days. So I would expect if it's happening, it would be happening soon.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So on another front, we are making updates to our website this year. The WMGLD did a survey where they collected some information, like an online survey, and then did a focus group actually, where we received lots of helpful tips and information about ways to make our website more navigable and information easier to find. I know personally I've received several comments from various people on how difficult it is to access certain pieces of information on our website. So hopefully this will address some of those issues. And I'll keep you posted on when that update is slated to happen, but just wanted to let you know it's underway.
What about, Jen, what about the billing site, not the, where you look at your bills? Do they update
Yeah,
that?
so that's been like an interesting and long story. The short story is we were working with a contractor on that, and it became apparent that relationship wasn't going to work. So that relationship has been terminated, and we started working with a different contractor. That just means that the time frame for completing that is a lot longer, because we basically have to start over. So it's moving, but it's delayed from the original schedule. I can keep you posted. I do know that it's not complete, and we were just informed, I think, late last year of the restart. So it's going, and hopefully it will be up and running sooner rather than later. But yes, that's what's going on.
So it's gonna be a new site. Is that what you're saying?
Good question, and I'm not an IT person. So I'm not sure, I guess, is the quick answer about how all the mechanics will work, mainly because we may be doing usability testing at some point, but I haven't had a chance to do that. So I can ask that question when we get closer to the time it's going to go live,
Okay. Thanks.
and I can get you the answer.
Thank you.
Yep. And the last piece is we're working on goals for 2025, integrating the strategic planning that I shared with you toward the end of last year. So yeah, we're brainstorming a bunch of new goals to kind of bring into the existing framework based on that planning. So I'll have more to share on that, but certainly if there's anything top of mind that you think we should be considering, please let me know.
All right. I'm gonna jump back up to minutes from last meeting since we didn't start with that.
I motion to approve the January meeting minutes.
Second.
Tiana,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Robin, yes. Lillian?
Yes. Yes.
I got it.
Okay.
Rebecca's not here, right?
Rebecca is not here.
Stefan,
Yes,
Anne,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
and no John.
We don't have John.
Minutes passed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Cool. Next on the agenda, I want to talk about a community event that I've started scheming for the first Saturday in May. Not to compete with Rep Lipper Garabedian's recycling event, which is very recycling focused, but we thought, and I think we talked about this a little bit last time, and I've set a few wheels in motion, that it could be fun to try to gather the community in celebration of all the various things that folks do in the sustainability space, and to try to engage some of the other organizations, some of the businesses that are doing green things, get folks who are excited about it to come out and talk about it and know what all is going on. So I got in touch with the folks who do the Warrior cleanup crew that do the recycling pickup around Earth Day each year. And they are all in, super psyched about it. So we picked Saturday, May 3rd, so as not to be on either side of April vacation week primarily, but still close to Earth Day. And to try to do a co-located synchronous litter pickup and sustainability showcase fair sort of thing. So there would be litter picking up going on, but there'd also be folks, tabling, showing off the stuff they're doing of the various organizations. I also mentioned it to someone on the board of the Friends of Lake Quantapowhat, and they were also enthusiastic. And that's about as far as I got. So I'd love to spend a few minutes and time box maybe like 15 minutes brainstorming who we should include, what we should do, what we could make this event into. And then if there are folks who want to run off and start to organize bits of this, we can do so.
So Maggie, who runs the cleanup, does she have a location for this cleanup? Coming up?
Don't know, but in the past, it's often been around the Galvin. At the one in April has often been around the Galvin, I think. So I would guess that it would be there. And that would feel to me like a good central location if we're then gonna have other stuff, like we could find sort of any of the open spaces around the Galvin to do the sort of fair part.
I mean, I think we mentioned a bunch of groups last time we were talking, right? Friends of the Lake,
Kind of like Quantapowhat. Sorry?
Gardening Club.
Yes, gardening club, good. Julie, do you think the bike ped folks would?
Oh yeah, the bike ped folks will definitely do something.
Safe Streets, that's the name.
Safe Streets, yeah.
Thank you.
Would there be like a place to maybe like do a little workshop? Like, wouldn't I still go back to maybe just showing people how to do, trash free or events, how to recycle and compost at events and things like that.
I think you need to invite Black Earth.
Certainly invite Black Earth.
And I'm thinking like Festival by the Lake. They were all in before COVID to try to, to at least talk about doing it.
Yeah.
And whether that's like teaching people how to have like sorting tables, that's probably the best way to do it rather than just bins that people mix everything up. But
Well, I wonder, can we just do it, but then also have some explainer material? Right,
that
like,
would be good. Maybe
right, like we
maybe we
have-
do have some sorting
we
tables.
have sorting tables, yeah. And then some, either poster or someone who's there saying like,
Yep.
well, this is how we do it. This is how we make sure that the materials are.
And the folks that do if you call for clothing textile pickup and they come to your house, do they offer to participate to explain Second Life of that? What's that?
Simple recycling.
Yes, thank you. Do you
Um,
know if they,
The simple recycling people, probably not, but Bay State Recycling, they're awesome, and I'm sure they would come.
They're often at the Mass Recycle conference.
Yeah, our rep is excellent.
Yeah. Bay State Textiles. Yeah, we could absolutely invite them to be there.
And would Black Earth promote their charm program too?
I imagine they would.
Yeah, I imagine they would also.
Okay.
Do we have any stats, Ann, on whether people are utilizing that?
426.
Just come.
no, that's compost, but no,
Their
The
charm program.
charm,
Do we know?
I don't know how many. I know some are. I'll try to ask and find out.
Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting to know, unrelated to this event. Okay, so we could do waste sorting. We could have those games that we brought to the very rainy event, from Mass Energize. I don't know if folks came to our table, was that Festival by the Lake or that was Town Day?
Town Day.
Town Day. Mass Energize has these great wooden, for carnival games that explain stuff about fossil fuel reduction and things like that. So we could certainly have those. Those are fun. What else or who else? I mean,
Is it too
something
much to
that-
have an EV showcase at the same place?
Yes.
Okay, I know you guys put that together, so I don't know what that takes.
Hi, thank you. I mean, any of the green team, like the recycling club, any of the, school.
Yeah.
Recycling folks.
Yeah.
I can let WMGLD, know, and they could promote heat pump offerings and other energy efficiency offerings.
Always love to have them at things.
And EVs.
I mean, we could invite, like, I don't know if any of the adjacent towns groups, like, would Melrose want to come? Or, I don't know, if Reading.
I bet the bike place in Melrose would like to come.
The bike repair shop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're renting electric bikes and everything. They like promoting those.
Cool, yeah. I mean, and I'm curious for folks' thoughts on this. I would think it would be delightful and not oogie to invite businesses to come and share things that they're doing, like.
Well, that's
Like
what I was trying to think of.
Clover?
Like, yes,
Indie Clover doing tech, clothing,
Second Life,
Second Life. I mean, and there are other such places in Wakefield also. We went
Rhonda.
Rhonda and other folks. Rada?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Nanoramics might come.
What was the word?
Nanoramics over by Edgewater that's doing battery.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell that?
Nanoramics.
And they do battery recycling, you said?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they have anything to show, but I think they're trying to get more involved with the community. We gave them a tax break, so I think that they have some community obligations.
Cool. Are there other businesses that, I mean, I know that farmland composts. I don't know if it's like, if they would care enough to like come and talk about it, but any of the other businesses that compost. Because I would love for folks to get to learn, oh, this business compost, oh, that's not so hard. I guess I could do it, and be able to like ask each other questions in the same way that at the EV showcase, we ask each other questions about cars, like ask each other questions about the activities that we do.
Yeah, I guess the question, so, I mean, farmland's a great example of, they have like 8, right? So they are example of producing a lot of food waste and finding a second life. Are there other restaurants that are composting? I know that Good Harvest in the beginning did. I don't know if they continue.
Early harvest?
Yes.
I think Rise and Shine does, but not with Black Earth.
Okay, I mean, I don't care what brand they.
Yeah.
But thinking of like, the commercial investment and.
Yeah.
compost.
You might want to talk to the Rotary. Something makes me think they do. Is that close to Arbor Day? They do the tree giveaway, the seedling giveaway.
Oh.
I think that was April.
Yeah, I can't remember when that is, but
Okay. So it's the week before, April 25th.
yeah, you might want to talk to about it. It might be a way to
Yeah.
do something there.
That's a Friday.
And we would, of course, invite WCAT to come and record it. They bring, I mean, what event were we at? There was some event that we were at, maybe it was Festival by the Lake, that they had solar panels for powering their equipment. I was pretty impressed. Other things to do other than like tables, games, and showing off how to do a zero waste or a low waste event.
Well, I mean, maybe the garden club can have some sort of talk about like how to set up like a raised bed or
Mm-hmm.
to plant locally, natively,
Yeah, some garden demos.
Rain garden discussions, right? If they're doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if
My-
you want to go in the direction of product sales, but I will just throw this out there. One of my favorite companies is Unpacked Living. They basically, you bring your own bottle, right? And you can refill it with their like natural various soaps and whatnot. So, I mean, people could bring, or like, bottles, and sample what it's like to reuse your own bottles to get cleaning solutions and whatnot. But
Are
that
they
kind of-
local?
They're in Beverly.
yeah, they're not
Cool.
super local, but they're not, crazy out there.
Also a place in Medford. She did have a spot in the old place in Melrose with what's her name.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit closer. So
Cool, yeah. I think that's fine. I mean, I imagine we should write up like what we intend and run it by someone to make sure we're not running afoul of any regulations if we're hosting. I don't know where the line is between table and tell us about your thing and being a vendor selling a thing, but I think that would be great. What else?
Yeah, the water truck.
Water truck.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
it would be cool for the whole thing to be a demonstration of how to have a sustainable event, right?
Mhm.
And information about what are the key elements to doing that.
Yes. Um, I assume we want to do this outdoors, and partly we picked May because it's hopefully nice enough to be outdoors, but I would think we would want to not have an indoor part of the fair and then litter pickup, like we should be outside so that it's highly visible. Yeah, agreed. We did set the day after as a rain date in case it's lousy weather.
Would this be like an all day thing? Do you have like a time?
All day's probably too much. But like several hours.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You like festival of like a long day.
yeah.
Farmers markets are 4 hours, and even those, the third, the last hour. So
Yeah, I was thinking in the 3 hour
Yeah.
range. I think when they do litter pickup, that tends to be 2 hours. And certainly for having litter pickup going on at the same time, we don't want to, we don't want to make it so short that people
maybe after, because then everybody
show up at 10 to do litter pickup and starting at 11:30, there's tabling and yeah. Like that.
We want to do like the sports equipment swap or something like that again?
This could be a good time to do a swap or collection of some sort. Yep.
I mean, the BB, I guess the book sale, oh no, the book sale is usually in June, I think.
But they could be there to collect books if
They
they'd
might
like.
be able to be there
or-
to collect. They might be willing to do that.
Is there a particular swap or collection we'd want to do in early May? Is that a good time for sports equipment? Or were we planning to do that after like in the summer sometime?
people may be interested in getting rid of stuff if their season has ended.
Yeah, that could be. We did one of our collection days around the recycling day in June last year, so it's not so far off time-wise.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
it's,
mean, and we will still have that event in June. We will still go to that recycling event. So
Mhm.
we could collect or swap a different thing in May and then do that one still
Yeah.
in June. If we want.
yeah, or if we do the school supply collection at one of them,
Mhm.
and sports at the other.
Does anybody, I was trying to Google around here for like sustainable landscaping or things like that, like back to
Oh.
and more than just the gardening, but an actual company that does this. I can't seem to find anything in Wakefield in particular, but
Yeah, no, Velvet Green, because they sponsored and came to the first EV showcase, not this last one, but they have EVs in their fleet. They
Okay.
they like collect rainwater to use and they're all organic. So yeah,
Yeah.
they would totally be
Yeah.
someone to include. Good.
You might want to talk to the board of the health department. Maybe they can do like the medicine take back. They can get a box for it or something.
Yeah.
Could we do another one of those battery collection boxes? Because those were a hit at the recycling day too.
I mean, you can take your batteries to be recycled at Staples for free, so.
Was that always the case?
That's fairly new within the
Okay.
last year or so.
I remember last year our box was like overflowing at the
Yeah.
June event.
Yeah.
So maybe
yeah,
people
I
don't
think
even know.
they started taking like AA batteries, I think, with like around when we were collecting those or after or something.
Oh, okay.
Good to know. But we could, I mean, we could do one of those anyway. How much did that cost money?
Yeah.
A lot or a little?
I think it was like $70 or something.
Well, that's not much. So we could, I mean, we could look at some of the collection boxes and pick a couple that feel like they're,
Mhm.
that they don't have an easy replacement nearby.
What about electronics collection? Like electronic donations? Or
Last year,
That's a
tennis club did one or something, a high school sports group.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to take away from,
I don't
it's a fundraiser.
do it again. I could ask if they're doing it again, but
I thought they
I don't
collect that at the sustainability days. Maybe.
Yeah, they do. They
The
do
junk-
electronics at
The
sustainability.
junk green team did.
Yeah.
Some of that, yeah.
Shredding's
Um,
always a big hit too, but I think that's too much to like carry into something like this. They'll do that at the
I don't want to take too much away from
from the
the
sustainability day, right?
recycling day, since that does
Yeah.
have the green junk removal and the shredding and that sort of thing, yeah.
We right before COVID, we were working on this thing called the Big Purge, where we had
Oh, right.
we had like people collecting gold, right? Like somebody was gonna do like a gold collection exchange, you know, where people pay for gold and things like that. I'm trying to think what else was there. I don't know that that's a
Were there any like
sustainable.
repair shop or repair
Or
cafe type
repair, right, yeah.
folks that we could bring in?
Not if it's outside, they need like a
Oh.
plug and.
Yes, of course, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Perhaps wild idea, but does anyone know of any particular food vendors that would be fun? I mean, if this was like over a lunchtime area, is there a particularly green food truck that anyone knows of? I mean, or food vendor that could just set up and serve something yummy in as low waste a way as possible. It's just that they have,
The exchange. They don't grow beef and ginger.
Harmony Exchange is Laurent? Oh, no, that's the other one, sorry. Trying to think if it comes to the farmer's market, who's a little more conscious. I mean, some of those vendors are, you know, locally sourced or organic and, you know, packaging is more focused than others. I'd have to see the list to see if anyone jumps out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the new cheese shop, but it's cheese, so I don't know if that's like a full meal or anything, but
Well,
they're starting to do cheese forward sandwiches, I think is how they were calling
for
it.
me, it's a full meal, but
Well, and I did speak with the owner shortly after they opened, and she is like into sustainability stuff, so could certainly invite her and whether they want a table or actually do food.
I mean, so reminder, food triggers Board of Health licenses,
Oh,
stuff like that,
yeah.
so.
Right, it makes it a more complicated event. Now, the litter pickup folks always have cookies, but maybe there's a difference between we have cookies and
We're
a
selling.
food vendor is selling food. Yeah, okay.
So it's just a matter
Mhm.
of talking to the right people in terms of permitting and paperwork and Board of Health. Like the first couple weeks of farmers market sometimes does inspections, especially concerns about cheese and temperatures and stuff like that. So, you know, don't know, you know, it being outside does
Sure, yep,
change
makes sense.
But
Good
the
call.
farmers market vendors have means of keeping things the temperature they need sometimes.
Right, that's a good point. As would a food truck.
Yes, right. Standalone food truck is self-sustaining.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Well, if anyone thinks of particularly interesting food stuff. What else do we need to do to showcase it being a sustainable event? Sort the waste, have the water truck.
I would think that encouraging people that participate not to give a lot of stuff
Plastic,
out.
Mhm.
Yep, goodies. Yep.
I mean, if there's a way to do it electronically or not, yeah, not like paper and garbage and bags and all that
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah. Good call.
Probably want to coordinate with Maggie on what she gives out cleanups with the t-shirts and snacks and
Yeah.
make sure that's all. Yep. Not as wasteful.
I mean, can people opt out of getting those t-shirts and things like that?
I do. I wear the same one I've been wearing.
Me
for
too.
like
Like I have one that I
years.
just,
It's
I mean,
always
I'm
the
just
wrong
trying to,
color.
like, I do a lot of road races, right? Like more and more, you're finally seeing people, you can opt out of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never take them, but they still print them.
They
That's
still print them, right? But
Yeah.
at least if you're opting out, their numbers are lower. And eventually I'm hoping it'll catch up.
yeah.
Right.
So I found, it's not quite what, I haven't found any food trucks that are particularly about sustainability or something, but the Hungry Nomads is at least seasonal, local sourced, and they're not currently operating in the winter time. But by the time the event rolls around, it might be an option. But since they're local source and farm to table, that seems to be at least in the the Venn diagram of,
Yeah.
you know.
Cool. 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 All right. Well, that's a whole lot of great ideas. How do we move this forward without making a subcommittee? Gosh darn it. Are there people who are especially excited about doing some of the like reaching out and inviting folks? Are there folks who are particularly excited about the ways that we make it a sustainable event? Want to like run with any of these aspects?
I could do the sustainable event piece.
Fantastic.
I'm a volunteer, so I don't have to worry about all of that. But yes, I'll help whoever. You can put me in a group.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Melissa, you're in charge of what we need to do. Like, and if you can just write up like, do these things, don't do these things, that'd probably be a good start. Anyone particularly excited about, I need to coordinate. So Maggie is like gallivanting in Europe right now. So I think I need to nail down a couple other things with her before we start inviting a whole lot of organizations. But maybe I'll like make a list and see if there are a couple of folks who want to be reaching out to businesses or local orgs on something.
Yeah, I mean, she is really good about doing that for her event, so maybe she could tag team for ours.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Cool.
I can reach out to any of the recycling club at school and stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Is there anyone who's already connected with the gardening club in any way? Because especially I would think if they're going to do any sort of like hands-on demo type of thing, they might want more advance notice than, like gas and light department can show up with their table and talk about heat pumps on a moment's notice. I mean, not exactly, but is anyone particularly connected with the garden club?
Do not know them.
Does anybody want to become connected with the garden club?
The woman used to come to our meetings a lot, Julie. Who is associated with the church beside us.
Oh,
Yeah. Is she the one?
Oh,
is she the
Carol,
good
Carol
one? Yeah.
Zubik. Yeah,
Yeah, so is she like, if someone gets in touch with her, does she help
she
spread it?
probably knows. Yeah, I can get in touch with her. Just remind me.
Cool. Sounds like a start.
Ellen Helen.
Because she has a, oh, sorry.
Sorry, Ellen Hennessy is the primary contact from the web page. So I don't know if that's the right person to go through as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. The, saying Carol's name and pointing to the church behind us. We learned at, Town Day that they had a sustainability activity they were doing with their after school.
Yeah, their youth group or
So,
something.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Carol may, also, they may be interested in participating too. So Julie, they offer some middle school, I think it was middle school, after school program, and the theme was sustainability stuff. So that may come up. I
Okay,
don't
I'm dropping
remember
her note
more.
right now.
Cool. Okay, and I'll do the chat, like request a public place in town thing. ASAP so that we're official on a date. I don't know how they call any of the particular spaces outside by the middle
I
school.
mean, you may want to just nail down Maggie's spot for cleanup before you do that.
Yes, yes, yes. And then maybe make a Facebook page skeleton, Facebook event, so that as we're reaching out to folks, we can point them to somewhere on the interwebs that says a date.
Oh, I was gonna say, reach out to the library too. They'll probably
Yep.
do like a little exhibit of books and things and put your signage there right when you walk in usually. They're always
Oh, you mean for advertising?
for
this stuff?
advertising, yeah.
Oh, yes, we'll get to advertising.
Okay, sorry. I'm
Let's not
working.
Cool. Okay. That was more than the 15 minutes that I had time boxed, and I apologize for that. I'm just very excited. I think this is gonna be really fun. Also, I think you all know we got a $500 donation from the Green Team Junk Removal folks from last June's event. So if some of these things cost money, that's okay. I think we've spent like,
We also have a budget.
we have a budget of $2,000 this year and then got $500. So we have more money to spend than we usually have. And I think so far we've spent like $100 this year. So I'm not saying like go run wild, but like if some of these fun things that we want to do cost money, we have a bit of money that we could spend on things. So keep that in mind also. Cool.
We don't have that. I mean, we're running out of time to use it too.
Yeah. We need to spend it by the end of June. So this event would be a great place to spend some of it, including like if we want to buy a battery swap, battery collection box, or I don't know, do we have to pay for the water truck? Maybe we do. We don't, Ann says. Whatever. We can figure out what we do or do not need to pay for, but. Cool. Okay. Next item on the agenda is RDP. Anne, tell us all about RDP.
So RDP works, this year it's due June 2nd. And how it works is you get money based on how many households you pick up trash at. So we are at between 7,500 and the 949.99. That means if we get 1 to 9 points, we get $910 a point. If we get 10 points, which we got this year, you get $1,300 a point. So this year we got $13,000, which was awesome. So what happens
Which we can use on what exactly?
Spent on, we did the pumpkin pickup. We pay for that. We pay for the food pantries, Black Earth pickup every Thursday. It paid for repairs to the cardboard container, things like that. So we try to do things that the town probably wouldn't do. So we try to use the money for that. They do let you carry a little money over each year. They like you to spend it. They don't like you to hold it. But if you can hold on to it, it's okay.
Right, but there's like a set of things we can spend it on that are generally
Yes.
within the recycling, reuse, waste reduction.
Correct. Yes, we have to follow the rules there.
Cool.
So every year though, the criteria gets harder and harder. So we have to get more creative on how to get points. So I'll just start with like bulky items. bulky items, you have to charge at least $5 for certain items on the list. So that list changes. So that's somewhere we'll always pick up a point. And then some of the other ones are harder, like the charm points are hard for us because we don't have a place that we can have drop off. There's not a great place. So I'm hoping we're gonna do hopefully some improvements over the next few years at the pit. And that hopefully maybe we could carve out some spots to do some drops. I think there's talk of new kind of gates to get in and ways to go. So I'll keep that in mind when we work on that, for other things that look for a space for us. But where I think we could get some points is just gonna click to page 8. So reuse programs. So currently now one of them is like Zero Waste Day, which I consider the Caribbeans Day. That's a great day. It falls within that. So you need to do 3 activities, but some of the activities, like one's a permanent swap shop. That's hard for us because we don't really have a place to do that. But there's some other ones like a seasonal that you have to do 6 months out of the year. So maybe we could start working towards some of these things. There's a regional one. Maybe we can get in with some other town that wants to do it. I think places we could do things like a bylaw. So one of the bylaws is looking for items that businesses can do. Maybe that's something we could do. There's a bunch, but I think it would take some work and some people to help with that because I don't think the town currently now has the resources to do those.
Hey, Ann, I was talking to someone who lives in Reading, and he told me that there's high level, I don't know if it's like dream or whatever, of having a DPW facility shared with Reading and Linfields adjacent to the Army base. And
Yeah,
if that is being at all discussed, could it be sized thinking about places for these kind of swaps?
With
yeah.
Wakefield, you
Well,
mean?
we've been
Yeah, a
trying to move
Wakefield, Linfield, Reading regional
That's
thing.
been going on for like a decade.
we've
Oh,
been trying
really?
to
Okay, so I'm just behind. Okay.
we've been trying to move the DPW over there since I've been
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, but yes, that's the kind of thing that would be great if someone was willing to give land or a place to do it, and then it could be regional. Because before, when I was in Melrose, we did do a regional hazardous waste day, and it actually worked out great. People thought it was going to be so busy and whatever, and it just worked out fine. And one of the things I find interesting in Wakefield, we haven't lowered the amount of people who bring hazardous waste. Like it's a very busy day, and people get turned away every year. And I found in Melrose over 14 years, the people started getting smarter about the hazardous waste. And by the last hazardous waste day that I was there, we were standing around waiting for people to come. Like we had places when no one was in line. And when I go to the one in Wakefield, the line's up to the Voke at 11:30. The vent stops at 12. So I think some of that's education, like don't buy the gallon of paint when you can buy the quart of paint. Don't buy exotic yellow, turquoise or whatever color that is that you only going to use for a desk and you buy a gallon of it. I think like a paint swap's a great idea. Put the color on the top, see if people want to take it. But we don't actually have a great place to do it. We do those events in front of the high school, but like I'm concerned about every year the high school are going to be able to get into the front because of the construction and that kind of thing. So I think some of these ideas, I think we could pick some and then talk about them at future events, future meetings, and see if we could do them. One of the things I thought is maybe we could invite another community to come here and do a repair and show us how to do it and how it's successful and keep it going.
Yeah. I was on the Mass Energize, they have a monthly communities of practice call, and someone from Natick was talking about their successful repair cafes that they do in conjunction with their senior center. And have like a regularly occurring, and they have like a neighbor town that they alternate like every other month. One of them does it. But that they've had some great success spinning up repair cafes. So that could be a fun one to try to collaborate with someone on.
There's, what's her name in Melrose?
Did she ever get, I feel like you reached out to her and then,
Bring it back to me. But, I mean, they do their repair cafes at their senior center in Melrose. I don't know,
okay.
if like the seniors are you saying like the seniors are the ones doing the repair or it's just at the senior center?
I think some of each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another one, so one of the things we don't get a point on is the solid waste reduction. And I think that's one that we could try to work on.
What are can you outline for us what the point, like the criteria are for that one?
So the criteria for that one is that your municipality offers one or more solid waste management for more than one cart. So we charge for a second card and we charge for bags. So that's what we have. That's a criteria that you have to do to at least get the point. But then there's all these minimums you have to do, like pay as you throw gets you 5 points. You know, maybe there's some ways we can work on some of these things. Offer people 35-gallon trash barrels instead of 64-gallon trash barrels. And that
You
gets
can
you
have
some-
my 64. I don't want it. It's too big.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so we do offer 35. We have, I think, only 11 of them out there on this on the curb. But so if we work on programs like that, and I think over the next 2 years, it's a great time to work on things like that because we're going to get a new contract for trash and recycling. So the more of this you can do ahead of time, the less shock value you have when you are telling people you're not going to be able to put out all the recycling you want. It has to go in the bin. And I think we have to find alternatives for people to, if they are good recyclers, that it won't, if it doesn't all fit in the bin of where they can drop it or what they can do with it.
Yeah.
So it would be great if like the cardboard could find a permanent home year round, because I
Right.
think that would help people with their barrels and what's on the street. I think, if we could find a place for, I'll just say water bottles, just water bottles. That would take a lot of the volume out of people's barrels, and I would hope that they would recycle more and not put it in the trash when their barrel's overflowing. Because
Or not
that-
use them.
that's one of the problems. In Melrose, we went to just one barrel each, which is new in July. And like I see my neighbors taking their leftover recycling and put it in the trash. Because
Oh,
they
Oh,
don't
I
want
see
to
my
hold,
neighbors doing it on the off week. Yeah.
yes,
totally.
they don't want to hold it. So I think if we could start working on some of these things now and get people in a good habit, when it does change, it would be helpful to all of us.
As we're getting the new trash and recycling contracts in a couple of years, I assume we save money if people only get 35-gallon totes instead of
So,
the big
yeah,
ones?
so how our trash contact works is we pay Republic to do the curbside pickup, and we pay Covanta for the incineration of the trash.
Oh, and that's probably just by weight. That has nothing to do with the barrels.
That has to do with weight, but if you have a smaller barrel, then I think you purchase less, you recycle better, you don't buy, you don't do less throwing away. And if you can give people alternatives to do that, then I think that helps.
there's no way to keep the pit open year round.
People may die at the pit if they went in the winter. It's pretty busy in there. It's muddy. It's currently
I mean-
in its current state. I don't think people should go in there. I'm not scared on a rainy day. So, but there is going to be some reconfiguration down there and some changes. So I'm hoping they'll work on that.
Like, what if you put like a cardboard dumpster right outside the gate?
If you don't have someone monitoring you should see the trash that people left at town hall over
Oh.
people left bags of trash next to the cardboard container. I was
Okay.
in the cardboard container pulling stuff out that didn't go in there. People were putting Dunkin' Donut cups in there.
All right.
And then once it becomes contaminated, they won't take it. So they just call it trash. And then we pay $101 to get rid of beautiful cardboard that's now been 20% contaminated with Dunkin' Donut cups. So that's one of the reasons why we chose town hall, because people know we're watching them. So they were hopefully better recyclers.
Unfortunate.
It's kind of frustrating. And I think some of it's wish recycling, but when it's a cardboard container and you're finding, we probably found 200 Dunkin' Donut cups mixed in, then they're not wish recycling. They're just throwing out their trash. And one of the problems with the pit all winter is it does cost us, so then we would have to man it. So that's also an issue. It's open every Saturday, Wednesday from April to December. We opened an extra week this year. And then we open on the second and fourth Sunday. So those are manned and it does cost us overtime money on the weekend. But it would be nice to have it open. Maybe the weather's nice. We try to stay open in December. Maybe if March is nice, we could open early. It all depends on the weather.
But that, like, for the points part, that doesn't count as a recycling center because it's not year round.
Well, it doesn't count because we're only accepting metal and
Okay,
cardboard. You also have to take plastics. Which,
got it. Okay.
and I think that bin happens to be the most contaminated bin when you do it. Like, people still put in the black plastic. But one of the points you can get next year is if you do a recycling audit. So I talked to Brian, our Murph, and he's going to get me some names of companies who will do a audit, and then you pay for it. But I think that would be worth using our RDP money for. And then we can pick a day and they'll do an audit up at Republic to see how we're doing. Because Republic sends us a monthly chart, and every month it's like 35% contaminated, 38% contaminated. So I think there's an education piece we need to work on that. And I would like to know, and that's Republic telling us that. So I would like an independent company to tell us how we are really doing.
Yeah. And are there like particular hot items that like, oh,
Yes.
most of your contamination is plastic bags? Or
Correct.
most of your contamination is black plastic or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Because you do find we do have good recyclers out there, but they put them in a plastic bag and then put it next to their recycling. So Republic won't pick it up and then it ends up getting thrown away. And
Right. I saw one of the things in the RDP around the educational stuff is like campaigns, education campaigns, sandwich boards and billboards at like putting like getting the word out about recycling rules and stuff. Is that something that we could do and get points for?
yeah, so like one of the requirements a couple of years ago was that you had to send it to school in 8 different languages how to recycle. So we took the Recycle Smart card and we did do it in 8 languages, and there's some at town hall, we brought some to the library, we brought some to each school. So now that requirement changed and they want you to talk about trash. So we can do that again this year and do 8 languages and talk about trash, how to throw out the right things, how to recycle the right things. So those are easy, but some of those you have to combine those with like 4 other things or 5 other things. So the key is to make sure you can get the points after you've done a few of the items.
Right. Yep.
But I do think if we start early, it's not due till June, so I think we could do some of these things and get some of them, and some are fairly easy, some small changes, and we could get the points.
And are there anything like, since it's in June, is there if you see anything on that list that we could include at this sustainability event, we could try to do that too.
Yep, absolutely. Some of the problem is though that like you're required to do it 6 months out of the year, 12 times a year, and
Sure.
that's difficult for us.
Of course, yeah. That's quite a lot.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of the things on the list were like maintaining for a long period of time.
Yes. But there's ones like offer discounts for the hazardous waste for low income. That's easy for us. We can absolutely do that. I'd like to get in hazardous waste and get in the reciprocal community. So when people can come to ours from 5 or 6 towns, and our people can go to those events. So those are, I mean, that's just some
Don't we
leg.
do that with Reading, right?
we currently do with Reading, but why not add,
Yeah.
Stoneham, Saugus, Linfield, and Melrose, and try to see if we can get in with them, and then people could go to their events also.
Right. And then ours doesn't have a line quite out the door because maybe some of our people have gone to other towns the month prior.
Correct. One of the things I do like though is that in Wakefield, we don't charge for hazardous waste, and in other towns they do. And I think that discourages people from going when they only have 3 cans of paint and 1 thing of oil, and it's $65 to drop it off. Where we don't charge our residents for that, and I think that's the way to get people to bring the stuff to us.
Yeah.
I have been talking to, I think it's Marblehead, and they have a hazardous waste where they pick it up at your curbside. It's very
Whoa.
interesting, and that would be awesome. I think for closeout. So that rate of houses being sold in Wakefield is pretty speedy. So one of the things I thought is that would be a great thing to let the realtors know. Hey, you have hazardous waste, instead of pouring it down the drain or bringing it to your new home, you call this number and you have them come pick it up right at your house.
Yeah, that's cool.
So things I'm looking into, but haven't been able to pin down yet.
And this grant is fully state funded, right? It's not federal attached?
Correct.
Any other RDP questions, ideas?
Well, one of the things I thought of is if I was going to go through and pick some stuff, and then maybe at future meetings, we could talk about if we think we could do those.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great, thanks.
Good. Thank you. Sort of in the same vein of grant opportunities, another grant that we ran across recently, also through Mass DEP, is a grant about reduce, reuse, and repair, which I think is separate from RDP. Yes. Yes. That some municipalities have used for stuff in schools. So we had a brief conversation about whether there was any opportunity in the schools to use it for reusable dishware or things like that. Do you have more thoughts, ideas you want to share?
That specifically or something?
Or like what we could do with that grant? Like,
Yeah, the other
is there a thing we would want to do that grant for?
Yeah, it's either like using it for reusables or bulk dispensers in the lunchroom instead of the little ketchup packets.
Mm-hmm.
I think a pretty easy, low hanging fruit one. That wouldn't be a lot of money, I don't think. So that was the other one that I think we could go for.
So going for bulk dispensers, you have to buy in from the school and the food service vendor, right? Because they have to order it that way. You guys did Excel? Or Mark?
Do you know who does the food at?
I don't know, I don't.
Sometimes like they wear shirts that say they're who they work for. I didn't know.
I said Excel. I don't know. I know that there's like our school buys in bulk with other schools in like a group buying situation. So we'd have to see if that's an option to buy from whatever company we buy from, but I think it would be a good option.
Well, certainly the ketchup packets are a serious, and other like condiments, but ketchup especially, are a serious contaminant of the compost.
Yeah.
In the elementary schools, at least. In addition to just being a lot of waste, whether they're going in the trash or not, but.
And it's also like hard for the little kids to open them, and it's just like way more work, and it's messy, and yeah.
I think Dole Bear has a ketchup pump. I think so. I might be
I
wrong.
think the schools, like some of them used to before COVID, maybe.
Do you guys have like our ketchup and other things in like the little tear packets, or do you have?
At the high school, yeah, they are. Let's all their packets.
Well, that's a thing we could try to change.
something to investigate.
Is there someone who's excited to investigate that?
Be a hike.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anything else related to that grant? Okay. I think our next meeting would be March 13th. Unless there are major conflicts with that. Cool. Oh, do we know how, I don't know why I'm asking this here. I don't know if anyone else would have heard besides me, whether folks applied for our open spot that Robin.
Hasn't closed yet.
Oh, yes, it has.
Did it just close?
February 4th, give or take.
Oh.
It was open until filled.
Well, I mean, technically, yeah, if nobody applies.
But
So
there's a
I know,
season.
so Rebecca reapplied and I reapplied.
Yeah.
To stay on. But Robin did not reapply for her term, which is ending in April. If nobody else put their hat in, then that seat will stay open and we can fill it anytime. But there is a sort of a seasonal, like all the applications are due for February. Okay, well, I've heard nothing. I will ask, I'm quite curious. Any other matters not anticipated?
If we, do we have what, 4 minutes before?
I don't,
Oh.
we were not told of a hard stop. I mean, everyone's looking, like, look at poor Jen.
Well,
Like,
just-
we're all gonna turn into pumpkins, but.
Well, yes, I am too, but I did want to bring up something happening and so the city of Lola, folks haven't heard, passed an ordinance last week banning the use of second generational anti-coagulant rat killers. Sorry, I don't say the word correctly. Anyways, after what sounds like there was months of public discussion, Board of Health, they went to the Parks Department, the Green. I guess it started with residents talking to a counselor and the counselor brought it to the full council. Anyway, so they passed a ban on use in town or city properties. It does not extend to private, but it's a public ban on escars. We've talked in passing about, the dangers of rat poison and impacts to things that eat rats that are good. So I did a little Googling searching and found out that Wakefield's bylaw committee actually did a little discussion about it a year ago. So I reached out to their chair, just ask kind of what happened with their discussion, because why did it end in discussion or so forth? And it was reported back that they also had, concerns and use of it. They didn't pursue it because they kind of got the vibe from administration that they are, the way they practice now is safe, cheap, and effective. Was the words that he used. There's a lot to question about all the safe for whom. I mean, obviously, rats are not the ones we're talking about, but the things that eat the rats, family pets are impacted and so forth. So I just thought I'd let folks know that with Lowell agreeing to this, they join a small but growing list of communities that have chosen to say that the town, their municipalities are not going to use it.
That still doesn't do anything for private property.
It does not do anything for private property, but it gets the education out on the dangers, and town owns a lot of land. So I imagine there's a number of bait boxes and public properties and so forth. The state does have a bill out there for both in the House and the Senate. That's a little different from the municipal ones where it doesn't ban it, it just makes it harder to use, I guess is kind of the short way to say it. So it's acknowledging the dangers of it, but it isn't a flat out ban. So if folks are interested and want encouraging to go state level on changing how easy it is to buy it, I can give you the information about it. If folks are interested in having conversations of trying to have the town look into joining the list of banning it. So I just thought I kind of want to share that. So Newbury, Newton, Lexington, Arlington, Lowell, and maybe more have are kind of on this campaign. So I thought I'd just share that with the group.
Cool. And do you know if, from a public property standpoint, like, does Wakefield have any policies or particular practices around the use of rodenticides?
I don't. We did, maybe about a year and a half ago, we did talk to our contractor who does the, municipal buildings and told them not to use it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But
that's
that was
great.
that was the building manager's, decision.
Okay.
So that applies to town hall, DPW building.
Civic Center, Public Safety Building, Senior Center.
Schools or no?
We don't, I haven't, yeah.
Yeah,
I had no control over the schools.
it always confuses me who does what. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I wish I was.
Well,
We wish too, Ann.
but-
well, that's great that you guys
That's really cool.
informally just, asked your vendor to practice that.
Do you know if that's being upheld?
I was gonna
I'll
ask, yeah,
check
what are they doing instead? Which are the alternate integrated pest management practices?
I don't know because I really don't like pests, but I will find out. I'll talk to Chris and let you know.
I hope no one thinks that I do like pests.
Oh, Robin loves those pests. Yeah, and it'd be interesting to know what the schools are doing. That would be
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
talk to
that'd be
Tim when I talk to Tim next. I'll ask.
cool. Cool. Great. Awesome. Any other unanticipated matters? That was a good one. Thank you, Robin. No, well, then that's the end of our agenda. Would anybody like to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Hold on, sorry.
Cut you off.
Tiana,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Robin, yes. Lillian,
Yes.
Rebecca never joined. Stefan, you back?
Yep. And yes.
Adjourn? Okay. Anne,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
motion pass.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your night. Happy February vacation week.